Hey everyone, finally we get started on this. I've been looking forward to this all week. So we're going today. I haven't even warmed up. Today we're going to go through the trash folder. It's a folder literally labeled trash inside another D&D folder on my D&D laptop. I'm really excited to bring back memories of old characters and try to remember exactly what I was thinking when I created some of this stuff. As always, the music is all by Michael Gelfi Studios. They're fantastic. Their links are in the description. Okay, let's start at the bottom. So, Slavian's quest is up first. And Slavian was there's a bit of a story behind that. So he was a sorcerer that my roommate was playing. This is from, I think, the first campaign I ran when I was in college. And he was annoying to me as a new DM at the time, because sorcerers are supposed to be squishy, or at least that's what I thought at the time. And he was one of the toughest party members. Like, I think he had the most hit points total out of everyone in the entire party. So that was annoying to me, but we played through it. He eventually, I think, got pulled through a portal and never came back after that. So I don't remember any of this. So while traveling through the mountains, they party, good job typing, sees a bronze dragon flying overhead, and Slavian is looking for a bronze dragon's mate. I think that was his backstory. He had a quest to go find a mate for this bronze dragon. Traveling a day in the direction the dragon went brings them to a village. Okay, that needs fixing. That is that's such a weak hook. Like, oh, you saw a dragon flying overhead. Yeah, let's go get it. Nobody's gonna actually go get it, especially if they're traveling to a destination that's already part of it. So we need a better hook. Maybe something like, the dragon stops them on the road? I'm not sure if bronze dragons can shapeshift. Let's look that up real quick. New window. Let's see. Quick jump over to D&D Beyond. Because I know that silver dragons can shapeshift, and none of the chromatic ones can. And I think one other metallic dragon can, but I don't remember which one that is. Let's see. Monsters. Bronze dragon. Yes, they can. Right here, the stat block, change shape. So, a way that we could get this into the storyline is to have the dragon disguise themselves. But what are they going to be disguised as? Honestly, it could be anything. Let's pull that bronze dragon back up, because each one of the bronze dragons are... each one of the metallic dragons has a very specific tendency as far as their personality goes, but I'm not actually logged into D&D Beyond right now, so I don't actually get to see that. Oh well, we can just make it up. I don't really have them stick to the personalities in my world anyway, because I don't remember what they are. Dragon can be disguised as Sonya, you disguised a green dragon as the friendliest sister of the Lord the dragon had kidnapped. Huh. A lot of family going on in that one. We could make it like sort of a... maybe someone from a player's backstory? Or someone that claims to know the players. That's a good one. Maybe disguised, or the whole party, we could have them disguised as a fan of the party's exploits. So, if the party's been around long enough. Your green dragon led the party right into the lair. That's classic. Classic green dragon shenanigans. I love it. Let's see. So that would be fun. So we can delete this. So our goal here would be to help the dragon find a mate. Oh, there's an idea here. This is just a straight up another quest. Okay. We're gonna start a new adventure from right here, just throwing down ideas. The dragon. She or he is looking for a mate. Perfect hook. And knows the location of a few. And needs an introduction. This could be a really fun adventure, just solely based on, like, you're playing matchmaker between, like, enormous dragons. That would be amazing. Or just has a crush. No, I don't want him to have to go to several different locations. That's too much traveling. Maybe the dragon has a crush. Has a crush on another dragon and wants the party to... Yes, Dragon Bachelor. Be their wingman and introduce them. Alright. I mean, I don't want to write a whole adventure. I want to get through more of my trash and see if we can fix this stuff. Or, yeah, Sonya, that's a good one. Dragon has a crush on someone who isn't a dragon. Well, I would want it to have combat in some way, shape, or form. So... maybe it's a crush on something powerful enough to test them, like a sphinx or something. A sphinx, guardian naga. Sorry, Greg. Forgot to let you know. Thanks. Glad you made it. Could be another powerful being that tests them. A Sphinx, a Guardian Naga, what else? Angel, maybe, but they don't really exist, at least not in my world, in the material plane where this would be taking place. Can think of more later, maybe. Alright, we're gonna call it there for that idea. Going on to the next paragraph. In the village where the ancient first campaign in college party was traveling, everyone is extremely suspicious and secretive. Why? It takes the party a long time to figure out what they're hiding. A child mentions Karza in passing. They are hiding the fact that they have an adult bronze dragon protecting their village, and the dragon forbade everyone to speak of him. Okay. I actually kind of like that. I'm sad I didn't do this adventure now. Yeah. I just straight up like this. A bronze dragon named Karza protecting a village, but is in hiding. Why would the dragon be in hiding? So in my world, there's this thing called Zorvental, or the Great Game, where dragons that, or at least the very powerful dragons, were at war. It's called the 1,000 Years' War. It's a big point in history in my world. And they said, okay, we're all too powerful. We're going to find a way to give up our powers, but still be able to, like, do dragony things. So they invented a game called Zorvental, where the dragons can bestow their powers as gifts onto humanoids or other creatures called exarchs. So there'll be just a human that can, breathe fire or lightning or something like that. And there will be I was going to say a sphinx with wings, but they already have wings. Or just another different humanoid, like maybe an elf with draconic wings that was gifted them by a dragon who plays Zorvental. I have a bunch of rules in the real world, and there's even more rules in the fake world. Like one of my, in my family campaign, they came across a couple of books of Zorvental, and it's like this thick, and it's volume 287 or something like that. So the rules are immensely complicated, and dragons devote their entire very long lives to playing this game. And the whole point is to accrue more value in hoards and gold and stuff, instead of going out and killing each other and causing a whole bunch of collateral damage. And the game works pretty well. I mean, dragons haven't been at war since it was started, so it seems to be doing its job. So I'm thinking that this dragon plays Zorvental. And this village is technically part of his horde, maybe? H-O-A-R-D. Different horde. Well, actually, that would make sense. H-O-R-D-E would also make sense, because it's a horde of people that is his horde of... Anyway. Where's the adventure here, though? When they find Karza, he is angry because they are there. Ooh. That's a good point, Sonia. Exarchs in the village. Huh. I don't know. They would... If the villagers aren't supposed to talk about him, they would keep their powers hidden. Absolutely. And they wouldn't... Maybe another possible hook would be to be the party hears about a village that can defend itself very well. The people that can breathe lightning. And bandits just keep their distance. But they would definitely hide their powers to people that are actually going into the village, because the dragon doesn't want them to talk about them, because he doesn't want other dragons that are playing the game to find out where his horde is, or where he is in the first place. Let's see. I find Karza. He is angry because they're there. And I'd say attacks. And then at this point, you'd have two options. One would be the dragon's way more powerful than the party and wipes the floor with them just to teach them a lesson. And once the party realizes that he's too strong, the dragon stops and talks to them. Or the dragon is significantly weaker than the party. Maybe the dragon's only a young dragon and it's very new to this Zorvental thing. And two... young dragon the party defeats easily. Either way, he or she would definitely offer to the party to become a part of his horde, a part of his game, pieces on his board. He would want them to become exarchs. What was his name? Karza? Kind of simple. A little bit draconic. It feels more fiendish than draconic. But that can be edited later. Just because I don't want to change all the instances of Karza. Offers to bestow power and make party members exarchs. And then you can take this lots of different directions. Maybe he sends the party on a quest. In exchange for assassination or a fetch quest. Yeah, there you go. And that's your adventure right there. All right, we got another one already. Let's see. Next up, if they convince the dragon to calm down and explain the mate situation, he explains why he protects the village. Done with that. Nearby, there's a frost giant clan that only leaves the village alone because of the dragon. If they were to help the dragon... If the party were to help the dragon wipe out the clan, he would be free to go. So, kill local frost giants. But the frost giant chief is some sort of unnatural power that the dragon cannot identify. Okay. Man, I had some good ideas that I just tossed. I like this. Maybe a magic weapon. But that feels very static and not that interesting, unless the weapon has a history with the party. That the party has heard of earlier in the campaign. It's always good to tie things your party has already done and things that they remember well into the following adventures. I find that tying the party's past experiences into the current adventure helps keep them extremely invested, and it's kind of how stories are written, so it's just the way that the best authors write their stories. They don't always introduce new things constantly, like I used to do in my sessions. Instead, they take out pieces of things that had happened earlier and put them into where the reader or the players are now. And hopefully being able to connect those dots is going to make those players feel great and get more invested. So, magic weapon that the party has heard of earlier in the campaign. Let's see, what else would give him power over a dragon? Maybe there's an NPC, like a necromancer, that's aligned with them? I don't like that, though, because it starts to get too complicated. I already have a dragon that plays a game and is offering the players power so that he can get rid of local giants that he can't get rid of right now. And I think that's about as many steps as I would want to have. So some sort of magic weapon is the only thing I can really think of right now. But I think going back to that might be a good idea. You can highlight that for later. If the dragon's young, just starting out on its own, threatened to tattle on mom and dad? I don't know. I feel like I don't like that because, like I said with the necromancer thing, it starts to introduce more characters to an already pretty full adventure. Because you've got the townsfolk NPCs, and you've got the dragon, and you've got the chief giant, and any other giants that you want to make into characters. And I feel like that's already good for just a quick adventure, where it's, a quick power grab. And that's kind of what I was going with this one. So if you wanted to make it more complicated and longer, I think bringing in the dragon's parents would be good. We can add this up by the young dragon. Calls home, summons the cavalry of their parentage, and an ancient dragon flies in, and just the presence changes everything. That'd be kind of a big event, so you'd have to work that in carefully if you go that route. Let's see. Oh, I already have this. Powers in his crown, Dragon's Bane. It is dark, metal, and jagged, and created by the Lost God as a tool to fight against Bahamut. So, a god-made artifact to fight against the Dragon God, the Platinum Dragon himself. No idea who the Lost God is. I think maybe that slowly transformed into something I have in my world called the Nameless One, who created the Oberith, which are like Lovecraftian super devils and demons, demons, from the bottom of the infinite layers of the abyss. I mean, I like this crown thing, but I don't know how I feel about it being, god tier in power. Maybe created by... maybe created in the Soul Forge, which is spoilers for some of my campaigns, so I'm going to not put too many details in here. Legends about it? Maybe put that somewhere in the beginning. passing mention of the Legendary Crown, Dragon's Bane. Okay. So, with that crown present, the dragons are definitely going to want to kill that crown, to destroy it. So I think the choice at the end of the session is going to be whether they take the crown or take the Exarch gifts. I kind of like that. Alright. Wow. You know what? Right now, Slavian's being more help than he ever was when he was actually being played. Sorry, Logan. Okay. With the crown, the giant has the stats of a storm giant without the... no, I don't like that. No, I don't like that. And I'm not about to stat up an entirely new magic item. So... the crown needs stats. Yes, I do have a lot of dragons in this folder, because it is called Dungeons and Dragons for a reason. I mean, dragons are probably my favorite creature type, because they actually have... You know what? I'll keep it a secret, but check out Wally DM's YouTube channel. I will be featured in a interview-style sort of montage that he's putting together, and I think is going to be really, really cool. I think he's calling his series Iconic Monsters, and I got to do Goblins and Dragons in there, so I'm really excited for that to come out. So I won't get too much into why I love dragons here. But the crown needs stats. Not about to make magic items here. Moving on to the next point. And the dragon puts on the crown, it goes into a mad rampage. Ooh. Maybe the crown is cursed. Yeah. Yes, definitely something I inherited from my father. His world is designed around dragons. Dragons literally run the entire continent that the party is on right now, in the campaign that I'm playing in that he runs. Let's see. The crown itself is evil. Very evil. Even those with no magical ability can sense it. Yeah, okay. So that's just more cursed stuff. Touching the crown. Okay, I sort of did... Yeah, touching the crown causes any good line character to suffer 46 points of damage. So, I don't like this because I changed how alignment works in my world. So, alignment doesn't exist for people until they die. And when they die, they are sent to an outer plane as a soul. They are sent to an outer plane and the plane they are sent to depends on their actions in life. Actions, thoughts, everything. That is the job of Kalemvor, the god of death, the judge of death, and his angels. They sort through all the souls of the dead and send them to the appropriate place. And you don't have an alignment until you are sent to one of these places, because alignment is going to be constantly changing, and having only 9 of them is like not having 9 sections is not quite right, because it's a scale of chaotic to lawful, good to evil in every direction. It's not just a 3x3 box. So I don't like things that depend on alignment or sense alignment or do damage to things that are aligned this way. I might make one exception for legendary items like the Robe of the Archmagi, which is only wearable by someone of good or someone of lawful or someone of evil alignment, and it depends, varying from robe to robe, what specific alignment type that is. But I think that's the only exception to why I don't like alignment. So I'm going to delete that. Dragons suggests the object is taken to the city of Bahamut to be sealed away, and thanks them for freeing him. The dragon was trapped? Lets them take his entire treasure hoard since he can't bring... Oh, because he's gonna go... Okay. Okay. Alright. I think we've done our job here. We got 2 adventures out of this. A dragon finding a mate, and a dragon doing Exarch things, giving the party power in exchange for destroying a crown and local frost giants that are threatening his people. Alright, I think we've had enough, gotten enough damage done. Yeah, I will save. Some content might be lost. I will, don't have a problem with that. Goodbye, Slavian. And the next one, mentioned, sealing the crown. The party has Dragon's Bane, the crown we were just talking about. Filled with dangerous anti-dragon magic, they have to seal it away. The dragon suggested they bring it to the city of Bahamut to be sealed away. You know what? I'm not really feeling this one right now. It's much longer, and I kind of want... This looks like more of a dungeon crawly thing, of room to room. So I think we're going to skip over this one for now, and move on to whatever these are. These are literally just screenshots of a random NPC generator that I supposedly put these in my world somewhere, but there's no real... There isn't a whole lot of stuff to go on here. There's no hooks, there's no rumors. Why does she have bluish skin, maybe? I don't know. Let's skip over those screenshots. This one is some art. This one is the NPC stat block for this guy. That guy was a barbarian? He did not look like a barbarian. He was also... Is a barbarian tiefling. No, what the heck? Does that look like a barbarian tiefling to you guys? I must have made some changes. No wonder this stuff is in the trash. Hey, Bladed Wind. Not really rewriting Homebrew Adventures. We're just kind of going through an old trash folder, looking through some ideas. I guess for the first step, it was rewriting a Homebrew Adventure. But I think we're moving on to whatever else is in this folder, because I have no clue. Don't remember at all. Oh yes, the NPC generator, if we recognize it, does generate hooks that I remember, but those weren't part of the screenshots that I took. It was further off on the page, regrettably. So we could go and find that generator and use some hooks on a different stream, but right now we're just dumpster diving. The Red Karsus. Any hooks here? No, this is just a... I was trying to look at this. I do not recommend doing stuff like this in the future for anyone that's watching. This is... It looks like I tried to put a monster stat block onto a player character sheet. And you can tell how well that went. Instead, I like to use a site called the Home Brewery. But I think... And it ends up... The Home Brewery shows all the stuff. It puts it in the actual format, so it looks like it's from an official book. And you can put in stat blocks and all the tables that they have in the official content. But I don't think it's... And yes, I do think it's actually really great. I haven't done exploring. If you want to see some of the homebrewery stuff that I've done so far, you can check it out on my Patreon, which is link in the description. And it's entirely free. You don't have to sign up to look at most of the stuff on there. Random events. Oh, I remember this. I made a bunch of these in the past. These are just classic. Bar fight. It's not a D&D campaign without a bar fight, right? Just kidding. I think I've only done one of those in the past. Drunk accusation or attack. Oh, this is fun. NPC. This is really random events. It's just to make time in the city pass interestingly. Accuses a player of sleeping with his wife. Which definitely didn't happen. ... Depends. You might have a bard in the party. Dewy-eyed admirer. Like that dragon we were talking about earlier. NPC walks up to the party and somehow knows everything they've done. Seems to know the party members better than they know themselves. Players might react in different ways to this. I wouldn't be surprised if they either just straight up killed this admirer, or if they took the even darker route and captured him, brought him into a basement, and tortured the information about how they got the information about them. Tortured it out of them. Wow, I run some dark campaigns. Merchant with a broken wagon. I've used this a couple times. Offers wares at a discount if the party helps. Wares or information. A lot of my players are kind enough to, stop and help this guy fix his wagon, since they have magic and the merchant probably doesn't. Broken wagon or / injured horse. That might be easier for the party to fix broken leg versus a broken axle. Let's see. A runaway horse. Dex save or animal handling. Depending on what the party wants to do. Either they're trying to jump out of the way, or they're trying to, calm the horse down. 2 old women shouting at each other? What? Okay. We could make something big out of this, right? Oh yeah, dark tones are my favorite way to add tension, Bladewind. And leads to the villains the party despises. Yeah. dark tones and seeing evil actually happen in the world is a great way to make villains, you know, make the party hate your villains, your big bads. Two old women shouting at each other. What are they shouting about? Laundry? Husbands? Political debate? Maybe this would be also a good way to give some backstory about history or the politics of the land. Kind of like a funny lore dump. King. Missing children shouting match. Wow, we're really going this dark route, aren't we? King Bertrand would never kidnap children. Yeah, there we go. And the rebuttal to that would maybe be something like, of course he doesn't do it himself. No, they wouldn't. Maybe the city guard. Maybe it's the Axle. So in my world, the Axle is the name of the largest underground criminal organization that most people don't really know about. They do their job well, so they are kind of like the boogeyman to the general public. All right. I just love the idea of two old women shouting at each other and using that as an excuse to give a lore dump. The only thing I don't like about it would be the fact that it's hard to, as a DM, to do a kind of a back and forth between two NPCs. That can get a little bit weird, like you're talking to yourself. You could be talking to yourself in this voice. King Bertrand would never kidnap children. Of course he doesn't do it himself. It's the Axle. You have no proof of that. And it gets kind of weird at that point because you have to ad-lib going off of yourself. You could script it. But that would be a lot of work beforehand. One idea I've toyed with in the past, but haven't actually done, is to record myself playing out a script so that I don't have to do it in session and the players just listen to it. Will maybe... Ooh, giving the other half to one of the players. Yeah. If a player can ad-lib, you could do that too. And they would just read off the script back and forth to each other. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Especially if your players like doing voices. Old lady voices.
Old lady voice is one of my favorite ones to do.
Yes, Sonia, I know you can do the voices. Several of my players can, but I think you're the one that would have a lot of fun with it. Let's see. Piece of old armor or broken weapon on the ground. Maybe if they pick it up. And if they see it as magic, they pick it up, see it's magic, and realize that it would have taken a huge amount of energy to break this weapon. Just a story hook. and they would have to go into that. They would start to investigate, looking at the weapon from a library. So if they pick up this old piece of armor, a broken weapon, let's make it a weapon. They're more likely to pick up a broken weapon, like the hilt of a sword, than just like a single pauldron. Hey, Jordan, good to see you. Thanks for visiting. So, hilt of a sword. They find this broken weapon, the hilt of a magic sword, on the ground, and they have to start to do research on it to try to figure out what it is, what its story is. Let's see. A story about a broken sword. How would it have been broken? My world has the 1,000-year war between the dragons and the giants. Perhaps it was sundered by one of them? But that was, 500 years ago. Maybe something more recent would make a better adventure so they could interact with, like, the person that broke this sword. Maybe the old equipment is also resistant to identify. Oh, I love this. Okay, there are so many opinions I've heard about the identify spell in general. A little bit of a tangent. So, identify just tells you exactly what a weapon does and whether or not it's cursed, just right off the bat. Unless there is a non-detection spell on it or a Nistel's magic aura on it. Because those can fool identify. But it has to be actually put onto this, and both of those spells have time limits if they're cast at, their regular level. So I like the idea of having something that is resistant to identify, so they don't actually know what it is, and they have to do more research. So I like that, Bladewind. I'm definitely going to steal that and put it in here. Resists identify. So it resists identify, but why would it resist identify, and who would have cared enough to make it so that it would resist identify? Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. See King Bertrand. King Bertrand wanted a cover-up. I haven't done a cover-up story. Actually, I did in my main campaign. Big cover-up story where the king sold the souls of everyone in the city. That was fun. So I think I like cover-ups involving politicians. King Bertrand covered something up. What would be scandalous enough to a king that he would need to go through all the effort to, like, hide this magic sword? Even if items in the base games fool identified, there's an item that's sneezing. Oh yes, it's supposed to be. It looks like Dust of Disappearance, except when you throw it up, Dust of Sneezing and Choking, I think it is. And you throw it up and you just incapacitated, sneezing and choking instead. Yeah, so great. That's a great example, Bladewind, of something that resists identify. I think the Potion of Poison does as well, but I've personally never actually used that because I think it's evil when someone thinks they're taking a healing potion and they desperately need it and they end up just poisoning themselves. That is truly something for evil DMs. I haven't quite gone that far yet. I will someday, so players, stay on your toes. Alright, King Bertrand covered something up. Guard transporting the hilt dropped it, and the players picked it up. I don't know. I'm having difficulty thinking of something that the king would want to cover up. What would the hilt of a broken magic sword have to do to make a king nervous? Oh, the king is an imposter. Classic. Maybe a green dragon? That one might be overplayed. I always wanted to do a sort of big bad that's actually low level but has such good planning and minions that he's hard to take down. My favorite monster, a Morenoloth, is one of those. They can do some crazy stuff if they're on a boat, but they're only challenge rating 3. And they still have lair actions and regional effects. If you haven't used or heard of Morenoloths, go look them up. They're amazing. Green Dragon. Doppelganger. Let's see. Yeah, Doppelganger is a good fake king. Perfect. Emperor's New Clothes, Delio. The sword is the symbol of power for the king. Ah, okay. The one who wields it is not the true heir and or worthy of the throne. The sword says buy and breaks. And that's why the sword broke. Okay. Yeah, I like this. Okay. Doppelganger. That's spelled wrong. Anyway. The sword that designates the next true heir. And a fake is in its place. Yes! That was used at the Doppel's crowning ceremony. There's a name for that. Crowning ceremony? Let's just use that. Yeah. Perfect. Opens up a big can of worms. I think we'll leave that one there for people to take away and steal for their own campaigns. This is kind of why I'm doing this, by the way, is so that you guys can take these ideas that we kind of just like get a start to together and use them in your own campaigns, because there's no way I'm going to have time to do all of these. Yeah, he's had a very good copy made, but doesn't bring it out much because it's doesn't stand up to scrutiny. But also, his excuse for not bringing it out is because it's like a famous relic that could be stolen and whatnot. Guess what? It kind of was stolen. Okay. I like this. I like this. Thank you, Sonia. That was fantastic. Alright, next up on the random events table. Lover's initials carved into wood. Happen to be the same as the party members? But I think that would be better to just start a conversation with the party. It's like, this party member loves this party member, and maybe that romance starts. If they're comfortable with that, maybe it doesn't. In most cases, I assume it wouldn't. But either way, we can say maybe there's a rumor of a tree around that shows future lovers that they will become lovers. Oh, yeah, okay. That was a bad way to put it, but... Next in, they hear a rumor of a tree that predicts future lovers. Yeah, there we go. And if they check the tree again, the initials are gone. Okay, we're gonna leave that one there. There's not really a whole much of adventure you can put into that unless they like cut down the tree and something crazy happens. But I think that is enough to get, you know, the roleplay between party members going. Some actual lovers hiding from public eyes. Could make that as mature or R-rated as you wanted. One of them is the daughter of a local lord. That the party is going to meet. For dinner. A living tree that likes to ship people. This tree is a true fan of lots of dramas and follows their story closely. That's amazing. Yeah, writing that down. That's great. I love that. One of the people, the lovers hiding from public eyes, or just screwing in an alley. One of them is the daughter of a local lord that the party is going to meet for dinner, and the party and the daughter recognize each other when she walks in late. Cool. Done. Let's see. Fiddling contest tomorrow. Yeah. I might actually use this in an upcoming campaign. I'm planning on streaming one of my newer campaigns, and it is starting in a city that is built around a bard college. So I might steal this. Yeah, I'm just gonna highlight this. No spoilers. I'm gonna highlight this and leave it alone and use it as inspiration when I'm writing first couple sessions of that. Let's see. Find a coin on the ground. Huh. That's kind of boring, actually. You just find some money. There's not a whole lot I can think of to, at least not right now, can think of to improve that or make it wild. Moving on to the next one. Yes, Sonia, you are playing in it. That's why we're not talking about it here. Let's see. Street urchin is crying over a lost doll. Says some other kids took it from her. Ruse to lure a mark into an alley. This doesn't sound like how I write. Neither does the lovers hiding from the public's eyes. I'm getting the feeling that I stole most of these from somewhere. Like r/d100 or something, years and years and years ago. Before I even considered starting a YouTube channel. I wish I had put a link or something so I could credit the people that made this list. Dang it. Oh well. Let's see. Street urchin crying over dark could be a ruse to lure Mark into the alley. The other thought I had for this was what is the party going to do to the older kids? Oh, I totally get it, Bladewind. There will definitely, it won't just be streamed, it's going to be, we're going to record it beforehand, premiere it at a time, don't know when, but the video on demand is definitely going to be available after, so you can just watch it whenever. Yeah, too many games is a weird complaint to have, but if you're having that complaint, you're doing something right, right? I'm in the same boat. I think I'm running 1, 2... Yeah, I'm just running 2 right now, down from my usual 4. Oh, I love this hobby. It's so much fun. Could be a way to see what the party will do. And it would be a test from... Test by someone in disguise. Lots of different monsters for that. A little girl, something disguised a little girl trying to test the morality of the party. Maybe a vampire that likes feeding on good people, or something like that. Something that truly enjoys causing pain to good people. Or causing pain to bad people. Maybe it's a paladin of some sorts. Test by someone / something in disguise. To determine the party's morality. Let's see. Elderly man is seen struggling to regain his feet after a mugging. Same test. Just to see if you're a good person or not. Drunk aristocrat lording over everybody that he sees. This feels like, as a hook, this alone would not be enough. He would have to interact with the party somehow. Shoot some personal insults at them. Would be a good way to get the party to start hating a villain. Or a fake villain. I can't imagine just a drunk aristocrat being the big bad of a campaign. Let's move on to Forest. Or, you know what? I think, hey, you guys can hear my familiar, can't you? My Hugo? Let's move on to, let's save this first. Some content might be lost. That is okay. Shouts a personal insult at the shortest temper of the party. Yes, definitely. Personal insults at the party. Save. Alright. Notes for Dues for the Dead. This... I found it. This is the first session I ever ran. I just made a video about it too. It's too bad I didn't look in my trash folder for details. Dues for the Dead was a PDF I downloaded that described... I wonder if it's in here. Yes. part of Tyranny of Dragons. I ran this as my first ever campaign. Like, first one ever. So when I started playing D&D, I didn't have any DMs to, run the game for me. So I figured out the rules myself. This was around when 5th edition was just coming out. So this is well, let's see. We can look at the year this was released. Yeah, 2014. So released October 1st, 2014. So maybe 2016 I started playing. Permission granted to print or photocopy this document for personal use only. Cool. So I can't actually go into this document itself, but I have it. I have the first adventure. Yes, this was the target crew. And I think I was going through this earlier, and I think, oh wow, this is a throwback. Character backstories. Yes, here it is. My friend Dan played Obi-Wanga, a play on Obi-Wan, because he's obsessed with Star Wars. Skyseer, my friend Kyle played this before we knew how rogues worked. Like, we weren't using sneak attack damage. Oh man. Big Thok, the idiot orc. El Diablo, whose whole thing was that he was well endowed. That was his whole character. And there's yours, Sonia. Corindarian. Bet they're still around, aren't they? Wow. Sir Glenn. David's character. I need to leave this one alone. Just for personal reasons. I need to go through that. Send this to the people. Or just send the link to this live stream to them. About all of this nostalgia. Wow, this is old. Alright, back to normal stuff. Let's see. Let's do... what's this miscellaneous one? Auction items. This was me trying to figure out how to price magic items. Huh. Not a whole lot to go on here, except for this specific magic item that I sort of homebrewed real quick. A magic short sword that turns undead with a wisdom saving throw. Yeah, that's about the only thing here. Let's break up this document and say magic short sword that turns the undead. Let's give it a name. Let's see. Something Bane. No, I use Bane too much. Let's see. Cure. Something about... because it turns undead, and undead are zombies, skeletons, bone snapper. I don't really like it. We'll come back to it. And I'll wait for your suggestions, because the stream is on a bit of a delay on YouTube. It's like a 30-second delay, so I'm saying things about half a minute before you guys are hearing them, and then I'm only seeing the chats you're sending in a bit after that. So, well, if you have a good idea for this magic item, let me know, because I don't like Bone Snapper, to be honest. So, Bone Snapper, what is its history? Crafted by Evil's Anathema. I don't think that I like the use of the word anathema. I mean, the only other time I've seen it used is the Yuan-Ti Anathema. But I don't think it's specific enough to its only ability, which is turning undead. Maybe it could be Evil's Anathema, because it was named by someone who... Yeah. Let's use that. Evil's Anathema. Crafted by... I don't know. But it was wielded and named by someone who despises undead. So who despises undead? First thought is the Raven Queen. She has a lot of stuff in, you know, everywhere. She's got her fingers in lots of pies. Let's go with the, what's they're called? The elves from the Shadowfell. They worship her as their only deity, but they're Gloomweaver Shadarkai. So they worship the Raven Queen, who despises undead. So the only evil in her eyes and her followers' eyes would be undead. So Evil's Anathema makes sense because of who named it. Let's see. Wielded by Shadarkai. Okay, let's invent a character real quick. The Shadarkai Jared. The Shadarkai Jared, wielder of Evil's Anathema. Very smart, very curious. No, this doesn't make sense for someone that wields a legendary item. Tell me about Jared. So, let's see. Jared the Shadarkai is going to be a young prince? No, we've done enough royalty stuff today already. A famous ranger. Best known for mapping out the mirror of, let's see. The Jesuvian Spires, okay. So I don't know if this is actually how it works in the actual lore for official Wizard of the Coast, but in my world, the Shadowfell is basically a weird mirror of the material plane, sort of like the Upside Down in Stranger Things. So a mountain range is pretty 1-to-1 ratio. If a mountain range exists in the material plane, it's going to exist in the same spot in the during the Kenku's family. Crackle, Clacker, Chitter, Snap, Thud, Wingbeat, and Jeremy. I just love normal names. Like, there's plenty of times that joke is made. Normal names put in the middle of a list of names. Anyway, the Jesuvian Spires are a group of 4 extremely tall mountains at the end of the material plane. I still haven't figured out what exactly they are. I just know that in the middle of them there's a weird jungle that one of my experimental campaigns adventures took place. This was the one I talked about in, I think, still my most popular video as of recording this. The campaign that taught me everything. The adventure that I made run too long was taking place in the jungle between the Vesuvian spires in their valleys. I don't think that's actually how geography really works, but, you know, it's magic. It's fine. Dark World in Link to the Past. I assume so. I haven't actually played any Zelda games except for Breath of the Wild and Wind Waker. So I don't have experience with A Link to the Past, but I know this is not the first time it's been like a dark mirror world where the terrain is kind of the same. But yes, best known for this Jared, wielder of evil's anathema, is best known for mapping out the Vesuvian spires in the Shadowfell. So I feel like we need to fix this because, like, the actual weapon, because this feels, hey, Mr. Titanic, you made it. Yeah, I know, you've got a huge collection. I feel like this is too powerful. DC 16 Wisdom saving throw to turn undead every hit? That would be an artifact or a legendary magic item. I guess that would make sense if it was super famous, though, right? Evil's Anathema. Ah, what the heck. We'll leave it. Legendary Short Sword. So, in the Shadowfell, where there's a lot of undead just wandering around all the time, everywhere, this would be a great item to have, and it is what helped Jared make his name as a Shadowfell Ranger. I think we'll leave that one open-ended. You can take that out and plop it in your own world. If you do, I'd be really curious to see what happens if the party gets a hold of it. If someone actually casts Legend Lore. Nobody's cast Legend Lore in my world yet. Big sad on my part. I love lore dumps, but my players don't. Let's see. And these are all just actual items with prices that are almost certainly way off. Alright, we'll call that good for this document then. Save that. Content might be lost. That's okay. This is the trash. Melrear's quest. Ah, this was from my friend Isaac. This Melrear was his bard character that they met. Actually had a cameo quite recently in the fight against the Horned King. Let's see. Melrear's quest. Fa Den of the Broken Song has a twin brother, Kralin, Lord of Shadow. Lives in the Shadowfell, manipulates his people. Okay, problem right there. No one cares about either of these people. Why does the party care? Kralin has a group of warlocks that follow him. 2 identical dwarven warlocks follow Kralin. This is kind of bland. I'm sorry, Isaac, if you wrote this. I don't remember. This was our, I think, second college campaign that this happened, so 2017? Yeah, I'm not really thinking of a way to... Maybe instead of 2 identical warlocks following him. I was about to say this sounds like a player's backstory. It is a player's backstory. I don't know. Let's move on to the next part, see what else comes up. Melrear, the Nova Bard, because he could deal, I think, like 500 damage to a single target on his first turn of combat, and then he was useless after that. Melrir receives a vision one night of Faden, the person of the broken song, saying that he needed to see this player character. Then a vision of a road following the forest and going into a mountain valley. Once in the valley, you find a twilight forest and follow the path through the forest from beneath. So reveals a path to... Huh. Yeah. This is very clearly a path to the Feywild. Actually, this is pretty small for you guys, I bet. Let's zoom in a bunch. Hopefully 200% is better. Let's see. Yeah, so far this is just a classic Feywild adventure. Nothing super special about it yet. A satyr bard named Glem, with an M, approaches singing about himself, charming the party. Meets the party, says, plays the music. Wisdom saving throw or be charmed. Some music here to sing out, if that's kind of your thing. Or at least poetry. Next day, arrive at the palace. What happens when they get charmed? Does the satyr do anything to them? I do not have one in the bag where the satyr asks, I haven't done this to anyone, and I probably won't, which is why I'm putting it here. May I have your names? And if they give him their names, they give him their names. Meaning their names are no longer theirs anymore. But I don't know how that would manifest itself in a... I don't know. How would this show up in a roleplay sense if someone lost their name? You'd have to describe that you don't remember what their name is. Nobody remembers the PC's name and can only refer to them by describing what they're like. Like the tall one, the dumb one. Yes, fantasy identity theft. It's a real problem. Can only refer to them by describing them. I don't know what would come of that. They would want to get the name back. To get it back, they have to go on a quest. Most likely the satyr's lying about the quest and he can just give it back at any time. That would be a perfect red herring. They go and kill, I don't know, a group of displacer beasts. Yes. See the chat for actual dates of college campaigns that I ran. Let's see. To get the name back, they have to go on a quest. Not really, but that's what Glem tells them. to, I don't know. Yeah, kill a group of Displacer Beasts. And it would be a good excuse to homebrew a more powerful Displacer Beast to lead them. Homebrew the Alpha Displacer Beast. That would be fun to do. But not for this one. We're just brainstorming with my dumpster here. Let's see. Next day, they arrive at the palace. Breathtaking view. Elves escort the party into the castle. But they aren't elves like elves from Barry's village. Barry was another player character. They are more mysterious views. Yeah, this was trash because it's unfinished and bland. That's why it's in here. It is just a typical, oh, we go to the Feywild where everything is fancy and beautiful and perfect in every way, but also very chaotic and there's no order to anything. I don't know. I've never really been a fan of the Feywild, but I haven't given it a try yet, I guess. I haven't given it a chance. But with a campaign coming up that's starting in a bard college, I think you might see me give it a shot in the stream in, I don't know, sometime in 2023. Let's see. I'm going to call that good for this document. Max. I guess Max is an Oni. Yep, don't know about that. Just a token for VTT. Ooh, more Exarchs. Ah, this was my family campaign. Lex Dury was the name I sort of gave them. In retrospect, not great. Not the name itself is fine. It's, you know, Latin for durable law or something along those lines. And I had it translate to survival of the fittest. But I kind of forced it upon the party, and I've done this a lot, and it still doesn't really sit well with me. I like it when the players figure out their own party names, but my players just don't figure out their own party names. Maybe it's because I don't give them a chance to. Maybe it's because I don't, you know, give them the sort of, I don't know. Players, my players, if you're watching, seek out party names, especially if you're in one of my upcoming campaigns. This is going to be a big deal for me because it's going to be streamed. But I'm going to do my best not to suggest too many names for parties in the future. And this is just experiment with it, see how it works. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, in my current experimental campaign, which switched over because the other one is ending, the party name is Ataxia and the Bad Dads, which is great, I think, and I feel way better about it than Lex Dury or Dark Advantage, which are names that I thought up and put way too much effort into. They didn't come up naturally, so I like those a lot more. Anyway, tangent over. Exarchs. Alright, Lex Dury has been offered a deal. After the destruction of a second hideout of the Zorkin cult led by Animus, that's main plot stuff. Helm of Teleportation to teleport back to areas with overrun with Telona's poison. More main plot stuff. While you were in the area, Merrick said he would like to check up in his old town. Okay, so starting in an old player character's old, you know, starting location where he grew up or has an established something or other. Yes, Ataxia and the Bad Dads. It has been mentioned a couple times. I don't think it's become official yet, but I'm a fan. You decided to set a trap for this dragon. This was... There you go. Zach Sylvan is a player in Zorvental. So, I recall this one now. Essentially what was happening was a green dragon was losing Zorvental, the great game between dragons. It was losing badly. They don't have... Wow. Two of the people that were in this campaign are in the chat now. This green dragon offered the party powers of Exarchs. But the fact that... This is a very good aligned party, so just the fact that it was a green dragon was a deal breaker for them. They just wanted the dragon to leave the village alone. And they never found this out, at least not in the campaign, but the dragon was only bothering the village in the first place to get a group of adventurers to come to him so he could make more Exarchs and regain status in Zorvental. And I think that's kind of where that ended off. I'm not sure... I don't know what this is doing in the trash. We actually played through this. Well, that is the hook, was a green dragon who was bad at Zorvental, or unlucky in Zorvental, played against someone better, lost his horde, and was trying to desperately get humanoids to become his Exarch so he could get some playing pieces back. I think it was a good hook. I'll probably use it again in a different campaign if Zorvental ever comes back up. We will see. Ooh, miscellaneous. I was excited when I saw miscellaneous, but this is just how to describe things in the fewest words possible. When you're describing something, my rule of thumb is to always use senses other than sight as often as possible. So go through what the players are smelling, what the air feels like on their skin, and what they hear. Those are the three most common ones that I use. And then to save what it looks like for last. Because usually, like, if you're walking into a tavern, you're not going to see what's inside before you hear it. The first thing that will happen is you'll hear the party going on. The next is you will feel a wave of warm air from inside. If it's like winter and there's a large fire burning, you'll hear the party, feel the warm air refreshing and warming your bones in a comfortable way. And then you get inside and you actually take in the people that are there and the lighting and what is happening inside with the games being played, stuff like that. So I always save describing what the players see for last. I don't always do it. In fact, I pretty rarely do it. It's kind of hard to remember, and I'm still working on it, but that is still the best descriptions I've had have followed that rule, is 2 senses and then sight. Let's see. Darret. Darret was the name of a village in the book Aragon. This is Alchemist, but made this long before... Oh, I actually played this guy. When my good buddy Isaac ran a Ravnica one-shot. He was a Vidalcan from the Simic Guild. Let's see if we can steal anything from this. One of his creatures has escaped and turned against him. That's a good backstory right there. Distracted by the promise of information, ideal self-improvement, show little emotion, but when you get interested in something, gets overexcited. So, classic, nerd is, we're not talkative until we start talking about something that we love. Yes, I'm a nerd. Sorry if you couldn't tell. one of the creations. So biomancers are basically, as far as I understand it, scientists that experiment and create life, to take two life forms or more and smash them together into something else, something strange. And one of Darrett's creations has escaped. You know, that's a good hook. Someone goes up to the party and says, "I messed up." They probably wouldn't say that right away. They wouldn't give details. They would lie about it, and the party would find out later that what they were chasing was the quest giver's creation in the first place. This is all from the homebrew class Alchemist, from before Alchemist was a subclass for Artificer. Let's see. Has a pet rock named Bruce, and can use Fastball Special to throw Bruce at people. That's great. And here is the actual details of what this creation was. It was an ooze that had been hiding in the sewer for 5 years. Gave it intelligence. Hey, this is, there are intelligent oozes now. Unnatural intelligence growth. Fear how large it has grown. Ever since, I've only done experiments on myself to avoid further incidents. That is how you became a morphologist. So, this looks like this subclass was exactly this, experimenting on oneself instead of on other things to give, you know, new body parts, extra abilities, stuff like that. Obviously, I thought it was cool at the time, and I still do now, because I made the character, right? Remained part of the guild, but kept the secret about the ooze because I have fear of being killed for creating something that dangerous and big. I mean, I like it. We played through it. There's a whole adventure there almost. Just needs the details to be fleshed out. Ah, this is fun. I haven't done one of these in forever. Professor Contract of Employment. I, Professor Dean Valamont, henceforth referred to as the employer, hereby hire, insert names here, henceforth referred to as the party, and enter into a contract with him, her, them. The purpose of this employment is to explore and make safe the tomb of the Once God. And there's a whole bunch of... I loved doing this. I haven't done it in a while, but actually writing out contracts in a form like this, now that I have access to, you know, the technology for making thumbnails for my videos, I could probably make this even prettier. But I remember the players really enjoying having something physical to hold, to actually go around, like pass around and physically sign in their character's name. And I think there was a barbarian in the party that signed like this with a fist. So that was fun. I gotta do this again. This one itself is pretty much made already. Payment will consist of a non-anthropologically significant artifacts and treasure, henceforth referred to as riches. If no riches are received from this expedition, each party member will be compensated 10 platinum pieces for their trouble. Determining what qualifies as anthropologically significant will be up to the employer. The party has no say in what qualifies as anthropologically significant. Yeah, most party members, if I remember right, didn't actually go through with signing this contract because of this clause right here. Like, I get to say what counts as value and what doesn't, so I can just keep all the gold if I felt like it. And this part. Yeah, this is just a bad contract in general. One of the player characters in my experimental campaign is the daughter of a lawyer from hell, so a very good lawyer. And this is the kind of thing that we do now with just an investigation check to look through a contract and figure out what is worthwhile and what is not. But now that I have a day job in home mortgages and I read these documents for a living, I'm kind of over them, to be honest. I mean, like, I'd be much better at writing them now because I've read so many, but I don't think I'd want to. I don't know. Maybe in a different context it would be more fun. I will have to give it a shot. I haven't had anything like this come up, and I don't foresee anything like this coming up soon. But we shall find out. It'll probably come up eventually because one of the players is basically a lawyer, but that is for another day. Caspix. Okay. I've completely redone this city. Caspix is the capital of Wint, which is a country to the far north. It is now Caspix, the vertical city, not the gray city. And it is almost entirely gnomish, and they just built it entirely upwards in a tunnel. This is... I didn't even know this existed, and I probably wouldn't have built it if I remembered that this was here. Looks like I did this a very long time ago. But it looks like I had an okay structure for building this city. I had a kind of a summary up here of like the logistical organization of it. That's not what should be first. It's not what I do first anymore. What I do first now is what you see as you're approaching the city, a visual description. Depending on, with like, you know, some variances for if it's nighttime when you arrive or daytime. Whether you get teleported into a teleportation hub or whether you sail into a port. I'll have a couple of different descriptions for the city that I can just read out when a new party arrives there. Social hierarchy is kind of important. It's not necessary, I find, to actually have all of this built out. So I was doing work that I really didn't need to here. All that I really needed was, you know, there are wealthy people, what do they look like? There are poor people, what do they look like? And most people in between, what do they look like? Only the description of what the players are probably going to run into, that is the most bang for your buck as far as workload goes. Caspix has 3 main sources of income. This is important. This has a huge influence on what kind of city it's going to be. You need to know where it gets its money from. If it's going to... This is an arcane and scientific research invention city, so there's going to be a lot of technological advancements that are new to most people that are visiting this place. It has an iron ore mine, so there's going to be a lot of iron and steel built into this thing. And this is almost like, with the technology and the iron mine, this is almost like a steampunk city in a fantasy setting. Let's see. Army of the Vale is their standing army. They train at Fort Keymore, 5 miles southwest along the mountain range. This isn't important unless they are at war. You don't really need to know their army. You do need to know their policing force, like the city guard. There are a lot of cool things you can do with that instead of just saying the city guard. You know, your bread and butter, very simple. It's a guard who gets paid to take care of petty crime. You could go a step further with that, like the Gold Cloaks in A Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones. They have a very specific, almost zealot-like devotion to the king or their captain, whoever is leading them, as far as I understand it. Might be wrong there, but you can definitely write the city guard to be of different mindsets, whether the city guard doesn't really care about their jobs and, you know, they just let crime run rampant, or they care very much and crack down on everything and crime runs rampant anyway. There's a lot of different feels that you could give a city just by changing the outlook of the guards. All right. Thanks, Mr. Titanic. I really appreciate you coming by to watch. I believe you subscribed to me already, but if you haven't, go ahead and click that button. Everybody else that's watching this, go ahead and subscribe, click that like button. It'll really help me out. I'm this close to getting monetized on YouTube. Just need those 4,000 watch hours and about 50 more subscribers. Districts of this city. Yeah, this is... I don't like doing districts anymore. I will only build a district if they are going to... if the party's actually going to go there. That is what I've found recently is I like to only write what the party is going to do and what they're going to experience instead of writing out, you know, building the full city. I find that I just don't enjoy that as much as, you know, doing broad strokes of cross-country, international wars and whatnot. That's kind of what I do for my outside-in world building. I don't do specific city building as much. Not anymore. But this, I like. A shopkeep, a female Goliath called Earth Crusher. And she's 6'6", ripped, and loves her dresses. I think that's going to be real fun if that becomes a shopkeep. Maybe I'll highlight this, because she could be a shopkeep for almost anything. And that's the end of that document. Hey, thanks for the subscription, Bladewind. Really love, I'm glad you found my stuff useful and helpful. If I can help just one person with these videos, I will keep doing them, because that is, you know, why I did it in the first place. I figured I'd reach more people this way than just commenting to people's questions on Reddit. And this way I get to build more skills, figure out what all of this is about. And doing this YouTube thing has really helped me grow as a dungeon master, learn how to, you know, it makes me figure out what lessons I learn after every single session, which is something I should have been doing the whole time, and I just haven't. Not every single time. I'll go into a session saying, okay, this session I want to figure out blank. And at the end of the session, I'll say, okay, have I gotten an answer to blank? Usually the answer is yes. And then, I don't know, I'll make a short about it or something so I don't forget. And so you guys can learn more along with me. Let's see. Done with this document. Save. Oh wow, we're getting almost to the top now. Well, I think we'll call it in about 10 minutes, make it around 2 hours of streaming. Captain of the Sonina Guard. So, Sonina is a city contract. Sorry, not a city contract. A city. Originally built by Sonia, who I don't know if they're still watching. But originally it was built by my lovely sibling, and I had to fill in some holes. One thing I don't like about this random NPC generator is if you're trying to fill a hole, it won't work out. Like Latelch Hardhelm is a 142-year-old female mountain dwarf beggar. Obviously, you can just get rid of beggar and say city guard. Fortunately, it doesn't connect with the rest of it. I mean, like, a sharp, bland face can be seen on a beggar or a city guard or a noble. It doesn't really matter. 4 piercings on her left ear. I do like this this NPC generator because it gives a very good visual description, but it doesn't give any other senses like I had mentioned earlier. What do they sound like? What is their voice like? What do they smell like? If they're a beggar, they're gonna not smell that great. If they're a city guard, they might be, really picky about how they smell. Maybe they bathe regularly, which is rare in a medieval time. Let's see. AB city building. Nope, don't look at that. I have fixed this entirely. Well, actually, no, it's pretty close to what is already on here. Let's see if I can pull up the document that I used today for building a city. Let's see, my D&D folder. Building. Locations. City template. Yeah, this is much better. I obviously haven't used it or fixed it since I decided I didn't want to do districts anymore. But yes, policing force is important. Standing army, also kind of not that important unless they're at war. Defenses of a city are going to be important in the visual description. And obviously, like I said, I start with the viewing description here. I always thought it was good to have a general goods store in here, but it's not really that great anymore to do that. Especially now that my party doesn't just go looking for weapons in every single city. I think they might start doing that again because I haven't run a low-level campaign in a while. But I'll keep that in mind next time I start a low-level campaign and see if people always try to go for the general goods or weapons store to see what's in stock first thing upon entering a city. Taverns are important. Patrons can provide excellent hooks to adventures. Nearby landmarks that all the patrons in the tavern are going to know and might be talking about. So that is what I use right now. But back into the dumpster. These are just some tokens I used. This is just some art that I like to put up for... Hey, there's Rorith. The Red Wizard? I think he was a part of my first adventure, but I don't really remember. Actually, you know what? Let's spend the last 5 minutes on this. Let's analyze this piece of art by Bodgen Mark 16, I think. He's got a signature down in the lower part. But let's analyze this guy and try to figure out what he's about. He looks like a cult leader. He's dressed in this, ceremonial robe. He could be a big bad, like a main villain for your campaign. And I think the most interesting 2 things I can find about it right away are this cross right here. This looks like a child has been killed and crucified on this cult leader's staff. There's got to be a story behind that. Who was that child? And why were they killed? Were they like the heir to a throne or something? what is going on there? The other thing that I found about this image right away is that it looks like he has some sort of rune here on his palm. Maybe a V with a line on it. I can't tell if that's just low quality because I'm zoomed in too far, but I think maybe the staff has a family member on it. Oh, maybe he killed his own son as a sacrifice. Yeah, I like that. Well, that's a bad way to put it. I think that would make an interesting story. Killed his own son, killed his own daughter. I think that's more visceral. I don't think it should matter, though. Killed his own child. And given the size of it, it looks like almost an infant. Like, look how big this thing's feet are compared to his hand. Like, each foot is almost as big as one of his fingers. So either he's very big, or this is the skeleton of an infant. Very dark. And maybe the infant was killed to create this powerful staff of evil. And what would a staff like that do? Needs a family sacrifice. Or maybe just an infant to be sacrificed. To give it what power? Well, the fact that I'm not coming up with anything right off the bat for this means that I think it is time to close out this stream. This was a lot of fun. I will throw away more of my ideas in the future to start to go through this sort of thing again. To everyone that hopped on today, thank you very much. All, looks like 27 of you. I really appreciate you joining me to go through my dumpster and helping me with coming up with new ideas and fixing what I thought was just trash before. I suggest you do this with your own. Don't throw out your DM ideas. Just throw them into a folder, let them stew for a couple of years, and then pull them back out when you feel like you have a writer's block or something. It has helped me. Thank you, Bladewind, and everyone else that was participating in the chat. Really appreciate your input. It was a lot of fun. I think I'm going to do more streaming because this was an absolute blast. Thank you, everyone, and remember, everything is going to be okay.